Life Master Brian Wall with my 4th YouTube chess video. I write a column off the wall for an online chess magazine called chessville.com. The white pieces today is Walter Browne, 6-time US champion, rated 2500 plus. The black pieces is Raytheon employee Francisco Baltier, rated 1500 plus. The occasion is a 40-board simul at the 2007 Western States Open, 25th Stand Regency in Las Vegas, Nevada. The date is October 11th, 2007. About 10 years ago, I think it was in Vegas, Larry Christensen was drinking in a bar and playing Colorado Master Jim Burden. Larry dropped his queen. He won the game anyway. He crumpled up the score sheet, threw it in the trash. Someone fished it out and put it in the databases. After that, Francisco Baltier would drop his queen to kids and still manage to win somehow, and then he would quote Rambo.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
So I invented an award every April Fool's Day. Anyone who sends me a game where they drop their queen and still win, I call it the Francisco Baltier Jim Burden Award. About 10 years ago, I lived with 3 chess masters, Joel Johnson, David Vigorito, and Jack Young. Jack Young was Japanese-Chinese. He was a 30-year-old house painter, and he was a specialist in unusual openings. He invented dozens of them and published them and played them in Rand Springer and Chess Horizons. About 6 years ago, in 2002, Jack Young showed me an opening called the fishing pole. He gave me about a 15-minute lesson.
Well, what do we have here, huh? Why would you be carrying a knife like this? Hunting. Don't be a wise guy. What do you hunt with a knife? Name it.
I said, Jack, what's the idea? He said, you're fishing for cheap tactics against fish. I fell in love with the fishing pole and played thousands upon thousands of games with it, anywhere from 3-minute blitz games to slow rated games with grandmasters. I publish my analysis on my website, wolverine.com, and I publish thousands of email messages on my Yahoo group, Brian Walt Chess, at yahoogroups.com, which Francisco Baltier read. And if you need more analysis on the fishing pole, you can go to the books Unorthodox Openings by Schiller, Horselats by Gufeld, or How to Play Chess Like an Animal by Anthea Carson, who also did a YouTube video on the fishing pole. Somebody captured the look of shock on Larry Christensen's face when I played the fishing pole against him 5 years ago in a Denver simul. And Francisco Baltier said that you should have seen the look of wonder on Walter Browne's face when I played knight g4. Walter Browne tried to kick the knight away, but Francisco just supported it with his pawn.
Why are you pushing me? What did you think? So why are you pushing me? I haven't done anything to you.
The idea of the fishing pole is the knight is a big juicy night crawler. It's bait. And the h3 pawn is a little fish that bites it. And when I played Denver champion Vance Andal, after he took the knight and I took back with my pawn, he said I had to unleash the gates of hell. This is an ancient idea that goes back to Greco. Not in this specific move order, but the basic idea of the knight sacrifice is very old. At this point, a huge crowd was forming around Francisco's board, and Walter was staring harder and harder each turn. Walter decided not to take the knight and just develop, and then Francisco did the same. Walter was correct not to take the knight, even though he had never seen the position before. After HG, black already has a better game. If you move the knight anywhere, you get mated. For example, knight e1, queen h4, f4, g3, and there's no escape. After knight c3, Francisco's bishop c5 was the best move, but Walter also responded with the best move, knight to d5.
Hey, if you're looking for trouble, you came to the right place, buddy.
Francisco played a6, after which taking either knight would be a mistake. If you take this knight, black will get his piece back. If white tries to move the knight on f3, he'll just get mated. And if you take the c6 knight, that's also a mistake, because you've freed black's queen bishop and you've driven the knight from d5. But Walter Browne was too experienced to take either knight. He attended the same New York high school that Bobby Fischer did, Erasmus High. And just like Bobby, he maintained the tension with bishop a4. Francisco responded with the best move, d6. Then Walter Browne did the classic central reaction to a wing attack, d4. And Francisco responded with bishop a7, which I call the hyperpole. In blitz games, white often forgets about that peekaboo bishop and loses material.
I don't think you understand. I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from him.
Fishing poles are a rare breed, endowed with great courage and imagination. Whereas most chess players avoid irrational positions their whole lives, fishing poles exult in them. There's a saying in poker, in order to live, you have to be ready to die. The purpose of the fishing pole is to create random chaos, which white is not ready for emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually. Roy Lopez players want a nice safe advantage, but we force them to get their hands dirty. Walter Browne made a mistake here. He took the knight.
You don't seem to want to accept the fact that you're dealing with an expert in guerrilla warfare. With a man who's the best. With guns, with knives, with his bare hands. A man who's been trained to ignore pain, ignore weather, to live off the land, to eat things that'll make a billy goat puke. In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel, to kill, period. Win by attrition. Well, Rambo was the best.
And now he can barely avoid losing with one of two moves. Bishop g5 or knight g5.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
In both cases, Francisco would win his piece back with a very messy position.